Well, to this effect, as far as the reaction, and it was first rather by the TMC MP Mahua Moitra, who had raised the issue yesterday on X. Now she seems to be writing to the Lok Sabha Speaker demanding a probe into this alleged Snoopgate. Yes, Siddharth, what does she say?
So here's the letter that Mahua Moitra, the TMC MP, has submitted to the ethics panel. She's put it out, of course, on her Twitter handle. She said, since the ethics committee deemed it fit to release my summons to the media, I think it's important I too release my letter to the committee before my hearing tomorrow. And here's basically what she said in her letter. She's, of course, talked about in direct contrast, a very different approach has been adopted in the case of Sri Ramesh Biduri. She's drawing a distinction here between the summons that's been issued to her and the controversial remarks made by Mr. Biduri himself on the floor of the...
Just stay on with us, Siddharth, because this is regarding as far as her appearance before the ethics panel is also concerned. But Aishwarya is with us right now. Aishwarya, if you can help us understand what Mahua Moitra is asking as far as the Lok Sabha Speaker, because she's written off a letter and asking his intervention.
Well, this letter Mahua Moitra has written to Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla, and 7 important points have been mentioned by her. Number 1, she clearly states that it is with great dismay that I write to inform you about the message that I and various other members of the opposition parties received from Apple on our mobile and email devices, informing us that they were being targeted by state-sponsored attackers who were attempting to remotely compromise our devices and access our data communications and even the camera and microphone. She went on to say in her letter to Lok Sabha Speaker that the threat is doubtly shocking, and
I think I'll just leave that to Siddharth to explain for us and better as far as the details that are now coming in of that letter that she's now written to the Speaker.
So here's the details. This is from Mahua Moitra, written to the Speaker, Mr. Om Birla. And here's what she said in her letter. Let me just read out the operative portions. It is with great dismay that I write to inform you of a message that I and various other members of the Lok Sabha, all belonging to opposition parties, received from Apple on our mobile and email devices, informing us that we were being targeted by state-sponsored attackers who were attempting to remotely compromise our devices and access our data, communications, and even camera and microphone. The threat is doubly shocking in the light of the Pegasus software sold only to governments that was used to compromise the devices of various members of the opposition, dissenting journalists, and members of civil society during the years 2019 and 2021. She's further gone on to say international organizations like Access Now and Citizen Lab in September 2023 have confirmed the validity of Apple's threat notifications and lended enormous credibility. In March 2023, reports of the Financial Times stated that the Indian government is potentially escalating its budget for spyware contracts to US $120 million, involving companies like Intelexa Alliance, featured in a report on government spying called the Predator Files. She then goes on to say the past few years have been seeing targeted attacks on the democratic freedoms of members of the opposition and voices of dissent. These include misuse of central agencies and using majoritarian force to repeal, amend and create laws, empowering the government to muzzle dissent. You, sir, are the proverbial keeper of the faith. This is to the Lok Sabha Speaker, Mr. Om Birla, the guardian of the Lok Sabha, and ultimate parent to each of its members. It is in this capacity that I ask you to immediately provide us the protection required for us to continue doing our duties as a vibrant opposition, which is to question and hold to account the ruling dispensation. I trust you will treat this matter with seriousness it deserves and seek accountability from the concerned authorities into this flagrant breach of law, constitutional freedoms, and our rights as members of Parliament. This is signed by Mahua Moitra and also notarized and sent across to the Speaker, Mr. Om Birla.
Right, Siddharth, thank you very much for that update. And Aishwarya, this is also coming at a time when yesterday Priyanka Chaturvedi wrote directly to the Prime Minister and the Union Home Minister raising this issue, and today it is Mahua Moitra writing to the Lok Sabha Speaker.
Well, certainly, and government on their part has stated that if investigation is needed, then surely they will conduct the investigation, as many of the opposition party leaders who have received this notification had made a joint statement, and also Rahul Gandhi doing a press conference alleging that it is certainly the Home Ministry who had been doing these kind of snooping from their phones. These are just allegations, but government had stated very categorically that it is Apple who had had already clarified on the stand, but BJP now making a huge point over here, and
also being misused. That is the claim that has been made by the opposition MP, TMC MP Mahua Moitra. But Aishwarya, please do stay on with us through sources.